history of what you know your family's been through, where they've been through from the old country, how, if you're first generation American, how things are, how things were, are, will be in this great experiment we call America. And let's add a couple things from the book I asked you to read, which is Gain and Beer's New Media Key Concepts. We are talking, hold on, studio audience, I have to get the book that's on my side here. We can even review as we go. Andrew, what was, the thing I wanted to speak about, look over here, studio audience, lids down, let's monotask, is this notion of how things in the future present will be manifest as a simulation, a simulated space. For example, the university is supposed to be a simulation for life, right?
Yes.
Ideally. And you're doing a couple different simulations, I just found out, in the college situation. You're going to college studying comp sci, right?
Yep.
And you're going to ROTC.
Yep.
So that's a couple different simulated incubator environments that supposedly catapult you into, well, first of all, you won't have the debt that simulations cost things, right?
Yeah.
We find that out. So we said Stony Brook is roughly around 30 G a year, even in-state. In-state's 30.
No, it's 20K in state.
If you stay at home, how much is it?
I stay at home, so it's about 8.
That's still a reasonable school, right?
Yeah.
It's tough for your parents or you to make that money, though, right? It's a hustle, right?
But if you dorm, it's like 20.
Dorm is like an extra
But you get financial aid, you gotta include that. You
Well, not
include that.
everyone gets financial.
If you don't
Yeah.
get to get a meal.
Don't the majority of people do?
No.
Oh, okay.
No,
then
if
never mind.
you-
Glad you-
I think they raised it. It's minimum. If you just stay at home, it's something like 15 G, right?
Well, yeah,
a year.
If you count all of your expenses, yeah.
And then you gotta hope you get enough credits and decks and whatever to get out,
Yeah.
right? It's a game. It's a gamble. The simulation that they've decided. And let's talk about 3 different realms: archive, generate simulation, but also this concept of reality, or what's a collective reality. And so let's talk about Andrew, this is interesting. Talk about your trajectory from your family in China,
Yep.
then here and now you, and this kind of wager you made to do ROTC as a wager into more or less a debt-free future, initially a debt-free future. Make that connection.
Alright, so begin all the way from like as early as possible from like family history. Or
Great
just-
grandparents. What kind of, who were they?
That's pretty much. Oh wow, my great grandparents. I don't really know much about them. I just know about my grandparents because from my mom's side, they all pretty much like died. I don't. My family hasn't told me much about them, but I know much about my grandparents.
They were from Canton, the Cantonese.
Fuzhounese.
Fuzhounese.
Yeah, they're from Fuzhou.
That's a completely different language from Mandarin, or
Yeah, it's completely different.
Different dialects for different regions.
your family's Cantonese, or
Mandarin. So they're
Mandarin.
Like the main language.
so it's like understanding Scottish, or it's an English person understanding German.
No, it's really, really different. There's like no similarities. at all.
Fujianese. So your family's so you speak Mandarin, Fujianese, and English.
Yeah, that's it. Those are pretty much the main 3 ones I know how to speak.
Okay, that's cool. Do you know if we're talking also studio audience? We're talking about how history, as we read it with a capital H, has impacted upon your family and you guys now, today, and you're crafting history as you go through this debt structure by entering the military and things like that. What did your family suffer under the Cultural Revolution? Do you know?
No, I don't.
You don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
If they did. The way that you found these records of them
Yeah.
being shipped out of major urban areas to rural areas again as the professional class. Okay, Andrew, it's very interesting. What kind of wager? Because our blog is called Risk Literacy. I mean, I like this. I like blending game theory with visual theory with the idea that none of you are not taking a risk. None of you are bench warmers, right? You're all in the game, even in the simulation. What risk are you taking with your particular path?
My particular path right now, I have to compete for active duty, and pretty much not a guarantee right now. What I mean by that is they're downsizing right now, and it's going to get more and more competitive as the years get by to compete for it.
Is it very clear what this competition is about?
Yes, it's really structured by the end of my junior year, which is end of next year. I'm going to be ranked among around 5,000 to 6,000 other people around the world. And,
Holy smokes.
I mean, not
Americans,
around the world,
right?
around America. And pretty
Right.
much, based on where my ranking is, I'll get a choice on whether or not I get to do it full time. And it's really all a risk right now. I have no clue what's going to happen.
Did you have to take tests to get in?
Yeah, I had to take a couple of tests. I had to take like a physical test. I had to take a couple of health tests.
But not aptitude tests? Did you take those also?
Oh no, they pretty much.
They looked at your not LSATs. What tests you SATs coming
Yeah,
in?
I had to complete like a DOT-MERD thing, which is like a medical test. I had to go to like 3 different doctors to check up like everything.
And you said you run 10 miles every week. You run a 10-mile race every week, or do you run?
No, it's gonna be like an event, October 20th.
How often do you exercise as it stands now? You like running and every day, right?
Oh yeah, pretty much. I've been trying to run every day, but because of school, I like sort of try not to run every day. But usually after the summer session, I'm pretty much gonna run like 6 days a week.
Cool.
And what I'm pretty much trying to do is I'm just trying to stay fit because
It's part of the competition, right?
yeah, physical fitness scores is gonna be 6% of calculations. So
6%?
yeah,
Wow. So you got to be fit,
campus based.
right? Cardio's, body fat, all of it. It's got to be fit.
Yep, and running sucks. I remember the first
I
time
thought you like running.
I mean, when you first start, it sucks. I could barely run like a minute, and I was running at like a 10-minute pace, and I was just like,
But
wow.
now, after a month, you get these, because of the cardios, you get a little euphoria, right?
Yeah, now I'm just like, whatever. I'm just used to it. I just run like every freaking day.
But you miss it when the days you aren't running, right?
Yeah, definitely, because I just feel so much fat. I feel so fat. Because when I run, I'm like, okay, I get to eat whatever I want today. But when I
Exactly.
don't run, I'm just like, oh man, I didn't run today.
But it jags your system, and the cardios are good for you, and you
Yep.
feel it's natural uppers, right? All of that. Tell us, studio audience, about. I like this concept. Well, it sounds interesting, but it's also a risk that you can get out of college debt free. Are they paying you now, or will they pay? Are they paying your loans now? So every time you go to the bursar, you say U.S. government's paying.
They're paying me right now separately. They're giving me like the checks through the Army. It's not directly affiliated with Stony Brook. Stony Brook is the university that accepts the scholarship I'm
Right.
getting. But the scholarship and the stipend and incentives I'm getting is all through the other organization.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so even you said I'm doing this, I'll do it. I don't care what wars we're fighting, I'll do it. Or whatever, come out the other end debt free. But you're saying even what are you now, junior?
Yeah, I'm a junior.
Even coming out the other end, there might not be. You might not make the competitive level. Will they still pay you?
Yes, they will. The only thing that'll be different, and it's a really big difference, is I have to be in the reserves or National Guard instead of active duty. And
For how many years?
8 years.
As opposed to 4 years. 4 years active.
Yes. Well, yeah, 4 years active, and then the rest of the 4 years in the reserves are National Guard.
Health plans, other benefits,
Yeah,
pensions.
I got a lot of benefits, but I sort of didn't look into that because I sort of don't really care about that right now. Right now,
Because
I'm
you're
just-
young and healthy.
Yes, and right now, I just want to see if I can get in instead of like contemplating whether or not like I don't like to look at like okay, if I get in, I'll be able to get this and this. Right now, I'm just focused on competing right now. There's
Right.
no point in looking at other stuff, and I might not even get it. So I'm just gonna focus on.
Oh,
doing
that.
things.
Yes.
Did you do JROTC in high school?
No, I didn't. But somebody in the program did, and she told me that it's like the biggest waste of time ever. Because all they do is scream at you, and you just sit in class and you just stress out all the time.
I know because my sister did it. Like she just graduated from. She's not planning to go on ROTC, but
Yep.
she just did JROTC. I mean, she said that they do have the fitness part. There's also a competition for it to get into. Well, at least in
Really?
her school. Yeah, in
Oh.
her school there was like something similar to what you're talking about, where you have to be really physically active and like go and do ranks and stuff like that. But the other part of it is, yeah, you sit in class and then you have like PT once a week or something like that.
Ah.
I know 2 people that did JROTC, and they both told me that they didn't even know what a push-up was when they were doing JROTC. But I'm not sure if they were joking or not. But yeah, I'm pretty sure physical fitness wasn't a big
A
deal
follow-up
to
question.
them. Yeah.
How did you decide that this is like what you wanted to do and that, and how do your parents feel about you doing that? You know?
All right. So pretty much when I first started, I didn't tell my parents anything because they initially thought I was going to be a computer scientist. And
Just
it
get
was
out of college, get a job.
Yeah, and I just realized that it really, really, really is not something I want to do.
Oh, you don't want to do comp sci.
I mean, it's not something I want to do when I'm 22, when I'm 21, when
Ah.
I get out of college. Because when I'm young, I actually want to. I mean, a desk job is nice and all, but I really want to like do something I only get a chance to do once in my life.
Right. So maybe travel, see different places on Earth. It
Yeah.
gives you good travel expenses and things like
Yeah,
that.
they pretty much pay for all of the stuff back and forth and stuff, but the main reason I wanted to join was because, I don't know, I just didn't like what I was doing in college my first couple of years there, and I was just like, oh man, I don't want to be sitting here coding and stuff every day for like the rest
Which
of
you
my
would getting out.
Yeah,
You're a
so
coder. No, you're business, right?
was that other
Who
guy
else
that's
is the
not here?
code? Oh, the other guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very good. So I like this, Andrew, for a trajectory. Where do you see? All of you guys. Maybe we'll go around the room. How are you guys the architect of your next 15 years? Back up from 15 years up to this point. Where are you 15 years from now?
Wow.
Architecturally, just build the house. Could be just a blueprint. Fantasy, reality, fantasy and reality. Worst case scenario. 15 years.
All right, 15 years from now would be when I'm 35, and when I'm 35, I would expect myself to have a good paying job at a good company doing computer stuff. 'Cause-
Sitting at a desk
Yes.
that you want to avoid first off.
Yes.
What, that's kind of
It's
cool.
something. It's something I want to do when I'm in my 30s and 40s, but it's not something I want to do when I'm 20,
Right.
21. It's not something I want to do.
Because you guys have been in school since you're 5, right?
Yes, and I'm sick of it.
It's,
And I don't want to enter a company and they're like, okay, there's a cubicle, and there's people you'll be working with for the next couple of months.
and if you
and have
do
fun.
well and keep your nose clean, you can be here next year.
Yeah, and you'll get like this much of a raise, and it's fun. You get projects, you code. No, I was just like, no.
So you
Never
want to do
mind.
like something life changing.
Yes.
Experience
I wanna
before
experience
it's
stuff
settled
like-
down.
Yeah, I want to experience stuff like jumping out of a plane. I want to go to do like airborne training.
Do you want? Are you a diarist? Do you want to You want to write a novel about it or anything like that?
Probably not.
I'm just being your coach or anything.
Yeah,
A best-selling novel, how I jumped out of a plane, how I survived,
Yeah.
like Hemingway, right? You just like, I'm young. I like this spirit of like, I'm young. Maybe other people would like to look at my life when I'm 35 and I write about it and make a couple million on your book, stuff like that.
All right.
But it doesn't really interest you, not to have other people look at your life. You want to be author of your own life, right?
Yeah, I guess, but I guess the main thing I'm trying to say is I never thought about it.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Anyone else? 15 years.
Probably, ideally, I'd probably found my own company and run it.
Far out, man. In what kind of business?
I haven't fully decided. Probably something like a computer, computer that does computer work, like some kind of.
I'm going to give everyone else, like you said, I don't want to be in a cubicle coding. That's like
When I'm young.
not now. What is the one thing what you learned from experience from life, what you don't want to be doing? The major
Pretty much pretty much the same thing. I don't want to be stuck in an office just looking at a wall and just looking at paperwork.
With some crummy boss.
Crummy boss or not, just
Even
just
a
doing
good
the
boss, you
yeah,
don't
just
want
doing the paperwork and like not going outside and living in the world. That's not what I want.
Right.
I want to be part of the world, not just in the desk.
Interesting how, because a lot of us worried about employment, but then people also said, watch out what you wish for, you just might get it, right? You got employment, but you're staring at a gray cubicle. 15 years, architect, your own destiny. Where?
Similar to him, I want to eventually own my own company too. But I definitely, like, a good thing, I had this epiphany in like the past winter break. Definitely want to stay in the arts and stay like potentially in media and stuff. Like at the end of the day, I think it'd be really cool if I have my own like casting agency.
Far
That'd
out.
be really interesting because coming from my school, like I was exposed to so many talented people at such a young age, and I feel like
What school?
LaGuardia Arts. On the
Ah,
US.
yeah,
So I
very
was a
good
dance
school.
major there, and like I was exposed to so many artists, and at such a young age, like 14.
Yeah, that's stimulating at a young age.
Yeah,
You go like,
exactly.
I can't see how people get plugged into cubicles.
Exactly,
This is
because
not
before I was biochemistry, and I was like,
Ah.
I don't think I can see myself.
pre-med,
Yeah, so I was like, I don't think I can see myself as a doctor. Seeing
cutthroat
patients.
doctor
Yeah.
until
Cause like
residency. We're
Exactly.
talking to one right there. I come from a family of doctors. It's like,
So I just couldn't see myself like that. I see myself as like finding young, inspiring people and like helping them.
yeah, one of your reaction to Andrew's like part of, you don't always have to travel to be interesting or jump on an airplane, is just being
As long as you're
surrounded by
passionate-
interesting
As long
people.
as you're passionate about what you do.
Being surrounded, that's why I like being a professor, being surrounded by people who have passions keeps you so young.
Yep.
The worst thing in the world, that's why I love these passions people have, and that's why I say, of course, form the passion first. It's the other nickel and diming stuff. It'll work. It is true what Joseph Campbell says after that. You can nickel and any 5-year-old can nickel and dime. It's maintaining the passion. So that definitely keeps you young. We all know old people in their late 20s, right?
Yeah, you don't want to feel old at a young age. So
Oh,
you
that's the
wanna
worst in the
feel-
world. Worst in the world.
15
Architect, you're 15 years.
So 15 years from now, I would hopefully be graduating from med school and residency and all of that, and
Just leaving school 15 years from now after being in school since 5 years old.
Oh my God.
That's a long, respectable road, though. It's
Yeah, but I do.
everyone
want
needs
to-
their bodies checked up. You know,
Exactly.
doctors
So
seem
you
never
guys
to
are
die
always
off.
gonna be- well, depending on what specialty I choose, but I do.
Do you come from a family of doctors?
No, I don't.
Okay.
If I like my uncle back in Uzbekistan was a pediatrician, but he's in Israel now, so he can't practice pediatrics there.
License.
But yeah, exactly. So in my family, I would be the first one who can actually practice if I do.
And your
go that
family
far.
would be proud.
Yes, but
I noticed no one talked about like spouse and kids.
oh, you didn't
and
let
whatever.
me finish.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
10 kids by then.
Not 10, but I do hope to get married by 35. and
By
at least
35.
have
What's
two
the thing
kids.
about it?
Magic number, anyone? 30s to get married? Magic?
Well,
Magic
I told
number.
you my
Big
situation.
children.
Right.
Culturally, I'm supposed to be married by like 26, 25 latest, but depending on what I choose as a career down the line and how I want it to play out, that's all going to factor into it. But
That's wonderful. Architect, we have a couple minutes left here.
I want to have my own sports agency.
Far out, man.
That's what, that's
Same thing. You got to be surrounded by interesting, passionate work, interesting, passionate people. Otherwise, you get old when you're young. Cool. Step by step, how will that happen?
Well, first off, I want to like work in like big company, like business. You know, make some.
Just to understand how it is, make some money,
Again,
not get suckered into a marriage so early, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Get moved along.
Definitely branch out to sports.
Far out, man. Architect, 15 years from now, you moved into that house. Back up. What's it like?
Probably doing something in the health science area.
Cool.
Still not sure what.
You
Hopefully-
biochem too?
No. I'm bio.
Bio. Okay. Hopefully not what?
Hopefully not in jail.
What?
Wow.
Why would you?
Now on that note,
Oh my
we
God.
don't know why wonderful Jonathan would think that would be.
I don't want to be in jail.
Okay, let's probe that one off screen here. Let's give Andrew a big hand here. See you on YouTube. Rock.